I think the only thing weirder than being a billionaire is being a billionaire that's a politician. You not have enough power already? You need like direct power over a group of people. Also, it's like, I feel like if you're a billionaire, part of the appeal is that you can kind of like fuck off and do your own thing. You know, you can kind of stay away from public life. You know, if I'm a billionaire, I don't think going to a town hall would sound appealing to me. In the wonderful United States of America, we have a growing number of politicians that are billionaires. And so I decided to do a little video of me ranking these billionaire politicians. These are politicians that have a net worth of over $1 billion that are currently in public office, or they are running for public office, or they've, you know, formerly been a part of public office. We're doing contemporary people only, all right? So we're not fucking talking about Henry Ford. Also, you know, a quick disclaimer that I think kind of goes without saying. If you're a billionaire, you're kind of a shithead. You're like at a baseline kind of D tier if you're a billionaire, let's be honest. And then if you're a billionaire politician, you're baseline F tier, because, you know, if you're a politician, you're probably also a little fucking weird, let's be honest. Let's start with our head honcho, Donnie T, the big man himself. I feel like now at this point, you know, we're about a little over a year into the second Trump administration. I think there's at least one aspect of Donald Trump that anyone could look at and be like, yeah, that's not really cool. You know, even if you voted for him and you thought that he's gonna change your life, you could probably still look at the way he's, conducting foreign policy. You could look at the way that your grocery prices aren't going down. You could look at the fact that, United States citizens are getting murdered in the streets. There's something that you could see a part of Donald Trump's policy making that can make you go, yeah, this is a little too much for me. I'm okay with the older immigrants getting deported, but once you deport the kid in bunny ears, that gets a little too much for me. It's no longer like a left-wing idea to hate on this guy. Like, I think it's becoming more of the moderate position to hate on this guy. Also, he's a pedophile. He's like literally all over the Epstein files, bro. And it's like they're literally actively trying to stop the release of the Epstein files to protect powerful pedophiles. If you're fine with a kid in bunny ears getting deported, you can maybe, hopefully, draw the line at the pedophile stuff. So like overall, I just think there's like a lot of really bad things about this guy. So I think based on all things considered, we're throwing this guy in F tier. Let's talk Michael Bloomberg, baby. Bloomberg portal, or what's Bloomberg terminal, dude? You guys see that shit on the television screens? You're in a Wall Street office and they got the fucking Bloomberg terminal. Guess who made it? Michael Bloomberg. I bet you didn't even know it was called the Bloomberg terminal. I didn't know it was called Bloomberg terminal. It looks fucking nerdy, but apparently it makes a lot of money. Forbes estimates that Michael Bloomberg's net worth is $109 billion. He created the news media company Bloomberg. That's probably what he's like most known for, but where he makes the majority of his cash is not financial news, but financial insights and markets, baby. It's cost $20,000 per year, apparently. But in 2002, he became the mayor of New York. From 2002 to 2013, he was the mayor of New York. He ran as a Republican. He went through some crazy stuff, I guess. The election day originally in New York was 9/11, 2001. They had to delay that one for, unforeseen reasons. But then he won the election shortly after 9/11 happened, and he, I guess, rebuilt the city. One of the things that's worth noting is that he extended New York term limits. So it used to be 2 terms, now you can run for 3 terms. This was a controversial thing, and, I'm not gonna compare the guy to Putin, but all I'm gonna say is that, Putin also extended term limits. That's just the only reason why he won, I think, was because he could outspend the competition. That's another thing that's a problem with billionaire politicians, that they can just fucking throw money at shit, and who's gonna stop him? I'm not gonna stop him. As a mayor, it doesn't really seem like he did like anything like super crazy. He did like a lot of like lifestyle stuff. He, I guess, banned smoking in public areas. That's kind of based, unless you're from France. New York became the first large American city to ban trans fats in restaurants. It became the first American city to require fast food restaurants to display their calorie content. Apparently he was a big bike lane guy, did a lot of work on the bike lanes. Some people, I guess, criticize him for being, I think it was called like a nanny mayor, or like nanny politics, where it's like, look at your calories before you eat them. Make sure you're looking at how many calories you're consuming on that menu. He tried to like ban sodas or something. One of the biggest like controversial things that he did as mayor of New York is that he was a big advocate or supporter of like the stop and frisk policy in New York City, which was a policy, from what I understand, can allow like police to just basically stop anybody and search them. It's a pretty constitutional violation right there. It was also a policy that led to a lot of racial profiling, as I'm sure you can imagine. And apparently Michael Bloomberg was also a big contributor to rising inequality in New York City. He also ran to be the Democratic nominee in 2020. He did not win, obviously. Also, a little side note about Michael Bloomberg's company. There's multiple sexual assault lawsuits brought up against Bloomberg, the company. And also Bloomberg himself has made some pretty nasty comments about women. So that's going to dock him some points too. So in terms of like where he'll be on this tier list, probably put him at a D tier. Vivek Ramaswamy, dude. This guy's funny, man. I love Vivek. Forbes estimates that his net worth is about $1.8 billion. He has a pharmaceutical company. That's where he got his money from. Basically, the idea of the company is that he like buys old drug patents that didn't work, and then he brings them to market or something like that. I don't know. It's like one of those ideas where like you can get a bunch of fucking venture capitalists in a room and be like, this is banging, and they'll fucking throw money at it. So Vivek Ramaswamy, back in 2024, he was running to be the Republican nominee for the president before seceding to Donald Trump, as they all do. Then he was like, I'm gonna start this Doge thing with Elon Musk. And then he got ousted from Doge before it even started. But now he's running to be the governor of Ohio, which is like so weird, man. Imagine if you had $1.8 billion. What makes you go, yeah, I wanna be the governor of Ohio. I can literally do whatever the fuck I want. I wanna govern Ohio. And he's probably gonna lose too, dude. He's like, it's not looking too good for him. He wrote a book called Woke Inc. I don't really know what this book is about, but it seems interesting because he writes about the modern woke industrial complex. Whatever the fuck that means. It might be worth a read just to figure out what that is. Another moment that's really funny, back when in December 2024, there was like that huge debate over Republicans about the fucking H-1B visa thing. Well, Vivek chimed in with his own insight. It was a psycho tweet, dude. I encourage reading the whole thing. In that tweet, he was like, TV shows like Boy Meets World and Saved by the Bell are reasons why America doesn't have great engineers. So I'll let you try to figure out what he meant by that. I don't know. Vivek, politically, he hasn't really done a whole lot. He's honestly really fucking funny, and I think just because of the fact that he's funny and he hasn't done a whole lot, and there's a chance that he might actually lose the Ohio governorship, I'll put him in C tier. Higher than Michael Bloomberg, dude, and Bloomberg actually did stuff. Tom Steyer. This is my guy, bro. Tom Steyer. Forbes estimates that he's worth about $2 billion. Tom Steyer got his wealth from managing a hedge fund. I'm not sure exactly what his hedge fund invested in. Some random guy replied to my comment on Instagram. I commented on Tom Steyer's Instagram post once. Some random guy responded that he invested in a bunch of ICE facilities. Generally, I feel like hedge fund people were like, they're not morally sound. They're gonna just invest in whatever makes them money. He ran to be the Democratic nominee in 2020. Obviously, he didn't win. But now he's back, and he's back with a vengeance. He's running for the governor of California. I haven't looked into everybody running. It's a crowded primary. Like literally everyone and their mom is running. And to be honest, everyone and their mom kind of sucks. So far, he's spent more than $27 million since entering the race. He entered the race back in like November. And for someone who spent $27 million on the race, he kind of has low motion. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of sad to see. From what I've seen, he seems to be the best option. It's crazy that he's just spent so much to get so little. Like, where's that money going towards if you're fucking pulling at 8%? He hired the agency that worked for Zoran and also did work for like Bernie Sanders and did work for Graham Plattner. It seems like this agency knows what they're doing. So I don't know what the fuck's going on with his campaign. In terms of policy, he's like probably the most progressive candidate in the race. He wants to ban corporate PAC money, which is, it's easy to say when you're gonna spend $27 million on your own funding. He wants to, raise the taxes on corporations and billionaires in California. He wants to break up utility monopolies, which I think is a fucking banger idea, actually. And he also wants to abolish ICE. I will say he didn't initially say to abolish ICE. He was kind of waited until a couple people got shot, and he's like, all right, now we should abolish ICE. Which leads me to my biggest kind of gripe with him, is that he seems like to only adopt political positions after they seem to be advantageous. But all things considered, he is probably probably one of the better, you know, policy-wise politicians, in my opinion. He aligns with a lot of my values. Sucks that he's a billionaire and that he doesn't know how to spend that money properly, I guess. $27 million and pulling 8%, dude. What the fuck are you doing, man? What's going on, okay? Tom? What's going on? So I'm gonna put him at B tier for best choice for California. And you guys, fuck man, I'm glad I don't live there anymore. Oh, this is a funny one. We're gonna do Jim Justice, bro. Jim Justice is funny because Forbes estimated back in like 2015 that he was worth $1.9 billion. Now it's being reported that he's $1 billion in debt. He's still a billionaire, just kind of in the opposite direction. Jim Justice, he got most of his wealth from a coal mining company. Ew, dude, ew. Not only that, but he also has a coal mining company that has had multiple cases brought against it for safety violations. So that's like a double whammy, dude. He was a former governor of West Virginia, and now he's the current senator of West Virginia. He did a bunch of weird party flipping when he was running for governor of West Virginia. He was a Republican, then he changed it to a Democrat in 2015 until he won the governorship. And then in 2017, he switched back to Republican, and he was like campaigning with Donald Trump. I saw that he banned abortion in West Virginia with exceptions for medical emergencies and rape victims. Why ban it, dude? That's just a problem. Why ban it? Current senator of West Virginia, he hasn't really done much as a senator yet because he's been there since 2025. So like he hasn't really done much. He probably, you know, voted for everything that Donald Trump told him to vote for. He loves gun ownership, all right? He legalized campus carry. That's weird, man. That's weird, man. I'd stay away from that, man. How do we fix the fucking school shooting problem? More guns at schools. Honestly, he seems like a pretty boring guy that just really loves coal. I'm gonna put him at, I guess, D tier. I don't know. You know, if F tier is like the pedophile tier, then we're gonna put him at D tier. Elon Musk. So I guess this kind of goes against the rules that I established at the beginning of the video because he's not technically a politician, but I thought it'd be funny to bring him up in this because, you know, over the past couple of years, he's been pretty deeply involved with politics, and honestly, I will never pass up an opportunity to make fun of this guy. He was deeply involved with getting Donald Trump elected. He did something what I think a lot of people might consider electioneering. He was fucking buying votes, man. $1 million to vote for Donald Trump? Fuck, man, I would do that too if I qualified. Elon Musk created the Department of Government Efficiency and was on it as an advisory role. I think the worst thing about that department was its name. No, just kidding. It did a lot of shitty things. He talked about creating his own political party. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was funny. It was kind of a short-lived idea, but he wanted to create like the America Party or something like that. And that's just in the United States. He's like fucking doing shit all over the place, man. He was really into this Nazi party in Germany. Not the actual Nazi party, but the modern-day Nazi party in Germany, the AfD, which is the far-right party in Germany that gained a lot of seats in this past election. Apparently, the Wall Street Journal has reported that this guy has regular conversations with Putin. Don't you know? Like, who else is he gonna talk to? You know? His AI girlfriend? This guy can't keep his mouth shut, dude. That's the biggest problem about him. He's the largest spreader of misinformation on Twitter, which is a hard thing to beat because the entire platform is basically misinformation. He did his Nazi salute at the inauguration. That was pretty dope, actually. He's like super anti-immigrant, even though he himself is an immigrant. That's also kind of weird. He gets involved with a lot of global elections, or at least he used to. I don't know if he's still doing that. I think he's more focused on merging his sex bot company with his spaceship company. Grok AI recently had this huge scandal where it would undress women without their consent, and sometimes even underage women. They would just undress them. Elon also coincidentally is in the Epstein files. Given that he is in the Epstein files, I guess we're gonna put him in the pedophile tier. So Elon is going in F tier. J.B. Pritzker, dude. J. Robert Pritzker, worth $3.9 billion according to Forbes. I will say his brother or his cousin just got ousted for fucking being affiliated with Jeffrey Epstein. So that's a little weird. As far as I'm aware, I don't think JB had anything to do with his cousin. I don't think JB is in the files at all. I'm pretty sure we all would have heard about it if that was the case. But his brother was, and his brother just stepped down from his role as like the chairman of Hyatt. That's where J.B. Pritzker's $3.9 billion of wealth comes from. He also started a private equity firm back in the day, but I don't think he does anything with that anymore. He's a governor, dude. The governor of Illinois. Pritzker, he's like widely seen as a contender to be the Democratic nominee in 2028. So his governor record, honestly, a lot of good stuff. He was a big abortion supporter. He made Illinois an abortion access state for the South. He legalized marijuana in the state. He signed an assault weapons ban. He also raised minimum wage in the state. Seems like he did a lot of good in the state. He won $1.4 million in blackjack, which is pretty fucking sick, to be honest. As far as I can tell, this guy's not really a supporter of Medicare for all. If he was a true progressive darling, to be honest, if he wants my support in 2028, which my endorsement will carry a lot of weight in 2028, he should support Medicare for all. Also, he used to be an AIPAC donor, which is fucking weird. All right, why are you donating to AIPAC, man? One of his staffers said that he hasn't donated in nearly a decade, though, but still kind of fucking weird. He also, there's like this weird thing that he did with a ceasefire agreement. He was like slow to support a ceasefire. The city of Chicago was like voting on a ceasefire. Pritzker was like, nah, man, we're not fucking doing this. This is weird. I don't like this. Pritzker's got some weird Israel stuff going on that I'm also not a fan of. You know, you always got to find the bad amongst the good. So while Pritzker does have a good record on paper, there is some stuff where if you start, you know, peeling back the pages, there's some stuff that's kind of like a little weird about him. But with that being said, we'll see if he follows the vibe in 28. I don't know, man. I guess if I gave Tom Steyer a B, I think I'm also gonna have to give Pritzker a B. Definitely not gonna put him in C with Vivek Ramaswamy. So there you go. That's the billionaire politician tier list. I missed a couple, I think, but honestly, these are the main ones, the main guys. And remember, folks, if you're a billionaire, you can buy your way into office, so might as well fucking do it, I guess. Unless you're Tom Steyer and you spend $27 million on fucking nothing, I guess.